干的越来越大了。 did it.
Sorry, your first look.
Yeah, give me like 5 minutes in between shoes. So if you want it smaller, that's why. If you want it smaller, you make the next one.
last neither day or night. I won't let you go. Changes everything. It changes everything.
Matt, I can recall so many details about the day we met. I remember Natalie inviting me to your house on Western. I remember watching the U of M versus Utah football game. I remember Will and Heather's dog Sherman was sitting between us on the couch. It's odd I remember so many details. A part of me must have known that day that you were special. I love that you make me laugh, that you remind me to slow down and enjoy the moment, that you keep me from stressing myself and you out. I love that you always know the latest and best restaurants wherever we go. But your loyalty to me, Finn, your family and friends, is perhaps the thing I love and admire most about you. We always joke that you get invited to a lot of weddings. Honestly, it's still remarkable how many. But I know the reason for that is that you make people feel special. That you make an effort to stay in contact, and that no matter how busy you are, you always make time for the people you care about. Today, on our wedding day, I promise to be your forever wedding date. I promise to explore with you and try new things together. I promise to cook for you. And now that we can finally be done with this wedding diet, I promise we can work some grilled cheese and mashed potatoes into the menu. I promise to continue to be a good dog mom to Finn and to be a good mother to any future human or dog children we might be blessed with. And I promise to support you always. I know that life will bring us challenges, but I also know that we will have so much happiness. I know that together we will travel the world and that our home will be filled with laughter, family, and friends. Matthew Taylor, Mote. I love you very much. You're my best friend, and I feel so proud and honored to be standing next to you today.
Matt, when you are ready, you may begin.
Ooh, okay, tough to follow that up.
That's why I went first. Good
All
luck.
right. Liz, I feel so lucky to be standing here today marrying my best friend. I think everyone in this room can attest to the fact that you are one of the most caring, kind, funny, and genuine people that anyone could ever meet. The last 4 years spent with you have undoubtedly been the best years of my life. It's amazing to think about everything we have done in 4 years. Traveled the world, got Finn, who unfortunately could not be here with us today, moved to Chicago, and got new jobs, among so many other things. And I can't wait to see what's in store for the years to come. I love you, and I could not be more excited and proud to spend my life with you. Throughout our lives, I vow to always respect you and your opinion and any decisions that we need to make along the way, because let's be honest, we're usually right. I vow to be a good listener and to learn from you and to openly communicate with you. I vow to strive to give you the best version of myself and to put effort into everything I do, including our relationship. I vow to encourage and support you in any challenges that you may face and to be there to celebrate all the successes that you will achieve. Above all, I vow to love you each and every day through all of life's ups and downs, and to continually remember how fortunate I am to be marrying you.
Matt, I give you this ring as a symbol of our love.
Matt, I give you this ring as a symbol of our love.
For today and tomorrow and for all the days to come.
For today and tomorrow and all the days to come.
Wear it as a sign of what we have promised on this day.
Wear it as a sign for what we have promised on this day.
And know that my love is present,
And know that my love is present,
even when I'm not.
even when I am not.
Matt, as you place this ring on Liz's finger, repeat these words after me. Liz, I give you this ring as a symbol of our love.
Liz, I give you this ring as a symbol of our love.
For
for today and tomorrow and all the days to come.
Wear it as a sign of what we have promised on this day.
Wear it as a sign of what we have promised on this day.
And know that my love is present.
And know that my love is present, even when I am not.
And with great pride, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Matt, you may kiss your bride. Ladies and gentlemen, I now happily introduce you, Mr. and Mrs. Matthew Taylor.
Stars are tracing the sky like city windows. I watch you reflect in your eyes. Slow dance on the New York City high-rise. You and me on top of the world. And I'm feeling like it was only ever you. And I'm feeling like you was something I won't lose. You were a part of me. I swear you'll always be. I swear you'll always be a part of me. I'm not sure if I even really know me. Something in you feels like myself. There's a way I see you in this moment. I will hold it all of my life. And I'm feeling like it was only ever you. And I'm feeling like you was something I won't lose. You were a part of me. I swear you'll always be. I swear you'll always be a part of me. Slow dance on a New York City high-rise. You and me on top of the world. You were a part of me. I swear you'll always be.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul Galea, father of the bride, and I get the privilege. I get the privilege and the honor to be the first speaker over the next 15, 20, hour and a half. And first, though, I want to thank each of you for being here. On behalf of Kat, Beth, Joe, Matt, and Liz, you all have a special place in our heart, and that's why you're here today. And we're grateful that you're here to share this very special evening with us. Whenever you have a momentous occasion like this, you tend to walk down memory lanes. We've all kind of done that. And Elizabeth was our first child. And many of you are first-time parents, and you understand that your child doesn't come with an instruction manual or anything. So you're kind of feeling your way around, trying to figure out how to do this in such a way so that you don't hurt them. And that was really what our goal was with Elizabeth, was hopefully we wouldn't do anything to hurt her those first few months. But we learned at a very early age that Liz had some very distinct characteristics. She was someone, if you don't already know and haven't seen over the last bit, she's a very confident person. She's someone who's unafraid to try new things, who puts herself out to experience new endeavors. As an example, when Liz was 3, we took her on a trip to Steamboat Springs, Colorado. And she was the sole child with 6 adults. And the idea was that she wanted to be able to get herself skiing by the end of the week. So what we did was, it was my job to get her down this first part of the hill. Now, we were supposedly on a ski-in, ski-out. But the thing is, any of you who've skied sometimes know that that's not really what it means. You have to work your way down an area that's pretty icy, has some pretty serious bumps, and is somewhat steep. Well, Liz was on, I was the better of the skiers, supposedly, and I'm supposed to take her down hooked up to a harness. And she's going down, and my sole job was to get her down that hill safely. So we take off, and we don't get into it very far. And I will say that this is all on camera, so I'm telling you exactly what happened. We get down, and we don't go very far, and I start losing control. Liz gets out of control, and the next thing you know, she falls. And I run over her. You know, she's young and pliable, so but she immediately, when she gets herself out of the snow mound, she looks at her mom, who's holding the camera, and looks at her and says, "Daddy's bad." Well, you know, I had to hear that for a while, but she got herself up, cleaned herself off, and got down that hill. So much so that after about 2 or 3 days, and actually by the end of that week, she was skiing green runs by herself with us. And what we learned is that Liz is the type of person that gets something in her head and does whatever she has to do to bring that to reality. As an example, they had a house in Ann Arbor that didn't have a closet. And Liz comes home and she goes, "I'm going to build a closet." You think, "Oh, okay, well, what are you doing?" And she goes off and she does the research, does whatever it takes, and she builds that closet. She started, when she was at State, she decides that she wants to learn how to cook. And if you've ever been at their house, you know that the two of them have really taken this on big time. But we knew that there was a change at State because suddenly the bills that were coming in had increased quite a bit. And she she was experimenting with her friends to try to figure out how to do this. But now with Matt, the two of them, Matt himself, I guess, is a foodie. Is that the term? So he's a foodie. and between the two of them, they've taken it on to a new level. But that's, the other thing about Liz is that, like I said, she gets these things into her head and she wants to get it done. At their home in Ann Arbor, she decides that they want to build a stone patio. And I think Matt will tell you that all of a sudden he's learning skills that he's never learned at any time before, because he's wheeling stones back and forth to get this. But they do a really good job. And then they decide to take it one step further and take that elaborate patio and build one at the cottage to help surprise Kat. The thing that we're going to surprise them tonight, because Kat and I have already figured out that for their next extended trip to Grosse Pointe, we're going to have them build a small patio. Surprise! But as you've seen, whether it's helping engineer a water treatment plant down in Central America, running a marathon with their best friend, going to Machu Picchu with her sisters and this group of Grosse Pointe hooligans over here. Liz is always up for a challenge, and she's always willing to step forward. We've done this with Matt. We've gone to South Africa to a safari, and now they're heading for another adventure in Southeast Asia. Like I said, Liz is always up for a challenge. And perhaps the characteristic that best describes Elizabeth, that you've heard, this part I'm not going to be great at because Liz Baxter did a terrific job. I got to tell you, she was awesome. So I was tempted to just come up and say ditto and just sit down and let it go on. But the thing that, as you've seen and heard, is the one thing that I can best describe Elizabeth is she's probably the most kind, considerate, and unselfish person I know. Like I said, you kind of go down memory lane with this type of stuff. And Kat and I were going through the kids' treasure boxes, material that we gathered over the years. And we came across a book that a 10-year-old Elizabeth had filled out. And it went through a question-answer process. And the question, what the idea of this book is to put down your memories and your dreams. And 10-year-old Elizabeth, the question that was asked of her is, how do I try to be a good friend? And Elizabeth writes, I try to be nice, think of their feelings, and make them laugh. Well, that's the opinion of a 10-year-old, but really that kind of sums up Elizabeth in a nutshell. She is unquestionably a person that puts herself out to those that she cares for. Her sisters will tell you that she's the nice one in the family. And you might hear some stories later on when Meg and Kate get out that kind of take that halo a little bit. But they'll tell you that, and make it clear that Elizabeth is the one that they look to for guidance, support, and she's their role model. The fact is that Liz is the kind of person that, whether it's her sisters, Matt, her friends, or her family, she's always willing to do anything, to make any sacrifice, to do what's best for those that she cares for. It might be something small, like trying to find a perfect gift, or maybe even sharing a laugh with you. Or it might be something more important, like giving you some support, talking to you, or maybe just being there to listen. As a parent, you always want your child to be a person of integrity, someone who's hardworking, dedicated, loyal to her friends and family. Well, no parent can be prouder of Elizabeth than Kath and I are of her. She has accomplished a lot, whether it's at school, in sports, or at work. But as a person, she's accomplished so much more. That little girl that came to us 30 plus years ago with no manual and no instructions has turned out to be a pretty special person. And I can't say anything more about you, I really can't. So let's now talk about Matt. Lighten things up a little. Okay. Beth and Joe, you have raised a terrific young man. He is everything that you would want and hope for in a son, in a husband, in a friend, and now in a son-in-law. As you know, Matt has a PhD from the University of Michigan. And when I was telling that to a friend of mine some years ago, he looked at me and he said, well, what the hell are you talking about? And I said, well, you know, the thing about Matt is that he's probably one of the most down-to-earth, well-rounded people I know. He loves sports, particularly Detroit sports, and that's obviously a good thing. He also loves food and loves whiskey. What's not to like about that? Heck, somebody said, Matt's been invited and stood up in more weddings than anybody I've ever heard of. So he obviously has a lot of friends, a lot of people who look up to him and want to be part of his outer circle. But more importantly, next to Elizabeth, we've learned that Matt is probably one of the most caring persons we know. At Kath's expense, I'm going to tell you a little story about what happened about a year or so ago. Matt had called us and said that he wanted to have dinner with Kath and I. And we correctly assumed that he was going to be asking for Liz's hand in marriage. So we were going to meet at a restaurant downtown. And it was a cold winter, it was about a year ago, cold wintry day, snowing, and Matt was going to be driving up from Lambertville. So there was some question about whether or not we were even going to have this dinner. On top of that, I had a client who had a ship on fire and in Toledo, and I had to deal with that. I was taking phone calls right up to the point of dinner. And at some point, Kath had to look at me and said, okay, enough is enough, let's go. So we sit down, Matt gives a very nice speech, tells us about how much he loves our daughter, etc. And, you know, asks us for Liz's hand. Well, we get up and we cry a little bit, hug, kiss, and then Matt proceeds to tell us everything that he had done to try to keep this a secret from Elizabeth. He had turned off the tracker on his phone. He had got a friend to go help pick out a ring. He had tried to do everything he could to keep Elizabeth in the dark over what was happening. And he felt pretty confident that he had done that. So we're sitting there and we're talking, and we decide that we want to have a picture of this momentous occasion that we can share with Elizabeth sometime in the future. So we sit there, and the waitress comes up, and she takes our picture, and you know, we thank her, and both Matt and I look at Kath and we say, you know, make sure you send us a copy. Yeah, this is the plot starts to turn a little bit, but it's at this point that Kath not only sends a picture to Matt and I, she sends it to Elizabeth. So Liz, when Kath realizes what happened, she is frantic. But Matt was cool, calm, very collected, very understanding, said, hey, it's no big deal, don't worry. Heck, she probably already knows what's going on anyway. She didn't, but that's a completely different story. But the thing that Matt demonstrated in that was what a understanding person he is. And we're not sure what he said to his friends while he was in the car driving home, but at least to us, he was very kind and very understanding. Took Kat months and maybe a year or so to get over it, but but Matt was very good about the whole thing. But the thing at the end of all of this is that the thing that we love most about Matt is that he loves our daughter. He loves her more than anything. He'll do anything for her. And Matt, we're so happy that you're part of our family. We love you. I've watched a lot of videos and talked to some people about what I'm supposed to do, and I know that it's at this point when you're all bored and want me to get out of here, that I'm supposed to pass on some words of wisdom. The thing is, we've watched Matt and Liz together for the last 4 years, and nobody could be better for one another. They are perfect for one another. They laugh at each other's jokes when nobody else even knows what the heck they're talking about. And you can just see that in them. So my only advice I can give you is just keep doing what you're doing. Because I've always felt that marriage isn't finding the person that you need or can't live with, or cannot live without. It's finding the person, that you can't live without. And I think that's what Matt and Liz have done in this particular case. They found within one another a bond that is made them one. So please raise your glass to Liz and Matt, who have today joined hands and heart. It's created a new joy and a new beginning together. Love you both. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Joe Taylor, Matt's dad, and my wife Beth is over here after 36 years. Best decision I ever made. I want to acknowledge some special guests who are here tonight, particularly Beth's parents, Don and Dorothy Teasdale. 66 years of marriage, everybody. 30 years ahead of us, and we'll catch up. I want to also recognize everybody who traveled for this event. From Grand Rapids, my family, to Toledo, lots of good close friends, Colorado, Madison, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Seattle, Washington. Yeah. Good night. I heard you, Jeff. This is a very special couple, and they have a very special evening planned for you guys tonight. So I want you to sit back, enjoy the night, and celebrate we will. Here's to many years of happiness to Matt and Liz. Elizabeth Taylor, by the way. Our hearts are filled with joy for you, and many years of happiness ahead. Cheers, guys.
Hi everyone. For those who don't know us, I'm Katie and this is Meg, and we're the bride's younger sisters. Meg and I wanted to start our speeches by sharing with you all something from our childhood. Our mom kept baby books for all three of us, where she wrote down important events, accomplishments, first steps, first words, losing your first tooth. We wanted to read a little something our mom wrote about each of us in Liz's baby book, which we happen to have right here. So my note reads, well, you have a new baby sister, Catherine Marie. You're always kissing and hugging her. Well, I shouldn't say always. There are times when you're not so loving to your new baby sister. She provided some competition and you weren't quite sure how to react. To give you a few examples, the phrases you use most frequently these days are, I don't like her, take her back, put her back in mom's stomach, she's not our baby, and throw her and Nana in the trash. Remember, those are the words of a jealous 2-year-old, and you don't know it now, but one day you'll be the best of friends.
So Liz finally got used to having siblings when I was born. She made definite progress in those 4 years. She never threatened to throw me in the trash like she did with Katie. This is what my mom wrote in Liz's baby book when I was born. You have a new baby sister, Margaret Ann, Mega Baby as you like to call her. You helped me feed her and you love her. You did go through a period of jealousy. You were afraid that Meg was Dad's best buddy. Now you realize that nobody can take your place in either Mom or Dad's heart. So Liz, even though Mom tried to convince you all those years ago that nobody could take your place in Dad's heart, I think now on your wedding day would be the perfect opportunity to remind you that I'm still his favorite child.
So based off of my note, I wanted to thank Liz for not throwing me in the trash all those years ago. But in reality, I want to thank her for so much more than that. One of the biggest blessings with having an older sister is having an immediate best friend. Well, maybe not immediate, but definitely a friend for life. I've had the privilege of making unforgettable memories with Liz. My favorite memories I have with her involve travel. We've literally traveled across the world together. We ate pastizzi in Malta, explored Austria, swam in Hawaii, shared a tent on the Inca Trail, and so much more. Another part of being best friends with your sisters means you have a constant support system. Liz, I can honestly say, has supported me no matter what. She's someone who's always willing to drop everything for the people who she loves, which is one of the many reasons she has so many amazing friends and family who truly love her. Along with having a best friend and support system, I also had an amazing role model. The quality I admire most about Liz is she has the ability to make anyone like her. And when I say anyone, I mean anyone. Liz can talk to people about anything from renewable energy to the soccer game last night. She genuinely cares about other people, so she can carry on conversations that would bore me to death for hours. Because of this, growing up, when people found out I was Liz's sister, it would undoubtedly be followed with, "Oh, I just love Liz." And as a true middle child, I would normally just roll my eyes. But the truth of the matter is, I liked people knowing I was Liz's sister. I was proud to be related to such an amazing person, and normally it made people like me a little bit more just because I was associated with her. As we've grown, moved to different cities, got married, raised our adorable fur babies, I feel grateful that our relationship hasn't really changed. To this day, I still look up to and admire Liz. I know I have someone to go to for advice and someone I can always rely on to have fun with. And now for Matt. I distinctly remember the first time Liz told me about Matt. She told me, "I'm talking to this guy named Mote and he goes to U of M." And to be honest, at that time, I didn't really think that much about it. I kind of thought, with a name like that and being a Wolverine, I can't imagine he'll last too long. Everything changed though when I met Matt. As corny as it sounds, I knew that Liz and Matt's relationship was special right away. The thing that I respect the most about their relationship is the fact that they are truly best friends. Like my dad said, they always laugh at each other's jokes, even when no one else around them knows what's even funny, and they just genuinely have fun together. Since I've gotten to know Matt over the past couple of years, I found that one of my favorite qualities about him is how much joy he finds in day-to-day life. He's always the first one to talk about how amazing a meal was, or how much fun an activity was. And I like this, because you just feel happy when you're around him. But as Liz's sister, my absolute favorite thing about Matt is how much he loves Liz. While I think anyone can see how much he loves her, he really proved this to me last year. During March Madness, my husband Brandon and I went to visit Liz and Matt in Chicago. We started out our Saturday by Liz promising Matt that the bar we were going to was not a Michigan State bar, which turns out it absolutely was. But Matt was a good sport about it, and we spent the day there drinking, watching basketball, and eating the worst nachos any of us have ever had. So this day, Michigan played first, and luckily they won, so Matt was in a good mood. And then State played a little later, and they also won. And that day, standing in a bar of screaming State fans, Matt turned to me and said, "I like seeing Michigan State win because I like seeing Liz so happy." And if that doesn't show his love for her, I don't know what does. I turn over to Meg, I just want to say how much I love you both and how lucky I feel to be a part of not only today, but your life together.
So once Liz accepted having me and Katie around on a permanent basis, she became a pretty awesome big sister. When we were little, she taught us how to play and be good at most athletic activities, although not as good at her in skiing, which she wants everyone to know, and not as good at her in kayaking, right, Matt? She showed us that working hard in school was not nerdy and was in fact very cool. She taught us it was okay to dress like a boy sometimes, because based on how mom and dad dressed us as kids, we didn't really have a choice. And most importantly, as we grew up, she showed us how to be a kind and loving person. Liz is amazing. Liz is amazing in a lot of ways. She's intelligent, she's strong, she's classy, she's adventurous, and she just makes everyone around her want to be a better person. As Katie said, growing up as Liz's younger sisters can be annoying because we're always compared to her. Yeah, okay. Sorry. I know. And let's be honest, Liz is exceptional at pretty much everything she does. However, she did set an amazing example for us, and although set the bar a little too high in our minds, there's no one else I'd rather be compared to. I think the thing I love the most about Liz is how thoughtful and nurturing she is. She's always thinking of everyone else, as I think everyone here has already said tonight. From sending me and my college roommates Chipotle gift cards because she knew we were poor, to waiting for me on our backpacking trips because she knew I was exhausted, to sharing her Sky Miles with Katie and I so we can all travel together. Liz is someone that will be there for you 100% of the time, and that's how I know she's going to make an amazing wife to Matt. Liz and Matt make sense in a lot of ways, but I think the best example of that is their love for their baby, Finnegan. Most of you probably know who Finn is, but for those who don't, Finn is their 140-pound, adorable, and very stubborn Swiss Mountain dog. And let me tell you guys, they love this dog. They love him so much that they wore matching Halloween costumes with him. They throw him a birthday party every year, complete with a happy birthday song, presents, and a birthday cake. And they both love to rock their Finnegan socks and drink out of their mugs with his face on them. They send us Snapchats of Finn every day. He's usually napping in them, or Liz and Matt are telling him how perfect he is. And I think that's something really special about Liz and Matt's relationship is they just get each other. They accept each other's weirdness and their quirks, and they approach life as partners, and it's inspiring to see. So Liz, we're officially done making fun of you. Matt, just one endearing story, I promise. Our family Christmas Eve tradition is to meet at the Kennys, my aunt and uncle's house, and the night is filled with crab legs, laughs, and a lot of wine. So part of this tradition is that we go around the table and sing the 12 Days of Christmas, and Matt's participated in this in the last couple of years. But last Christmas Eve, Matt took his participation to a different level, and he decided after some encouragement from us and the wine, I think, to conduct a solo performance of I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas. He sang it in this kind of deep opera voice. We're not really sure. I think a lot of you probably saw the video, but for those who don't, we could watch it later. And it was amazing. So Matt, thank you for always being able to make us laugh, and mostly for laughing along with us. Katie and I also wanted to say that we're so excited to welcome Beth and Joe to our family. You guys are wonderful people who raised a cool son, and we can see how much you guys love Liz, and for that we're very grateful. So Matt, we've considered you family for a while now, but it's finally official. You have 2 sisters and a brother, and me, Katie, and Brandon. So everybody please join me. Raising your glasses, and cheers to our amazing sister and our new brother. We love you guys. Cheers.
All right, good evening. Okay, well, this is a party. If anybody knows Mote, this is a party. So, good evening. Let's hear it. I'm incredibly honored to be a part of this celebration, and a big thank you to everybody who came out, especially to the families. Jote and Beth, you're like family to me. You've treated me like family, and I know there was a chunk of years where we were really, really worried about it. We didn't know if this was going to go down, but he did it. He did it. So we're proud of him. So the Galia is just such a warm, loving, beautiful family. And thank you so much for sharing Liz and your cottage and your amazing family with all of us. And Liz is just such an incredibly beautiful bride. I'm sure Finn is so proud. So for those of you I haven't had the pleasure to meet, my name is Art. I met Mote, Dr. Mote now, in 2004, our freshman year at the University of Michigan. And go blue, okay? And so I met him when I came into his dorm room trying to flip some leftover donuts for a profit. That plan didn't work out too well, but I got something much, much more valuable. Stories. A decade and a half of incredible, unbelievable, sometimes despicable, shameful stories. And unfortunately, almost all of those stories are completely inappropriate for an evening like tonight. So I'm gonna spare most of you, just share a few anecdotes. So some people joke around about Mote as being forgetful or distracted, but he's not. Mote's a dreamer. I remember, I would drag him to the library sometimes to study. He's Dr. Mote now, I take a little bit of credit for that. I'd drag him out to come study, and we'd be sitting at the library, and Mote I'd notice he hadn't turned a page in a good 40 minutes. And he'd have this 1,000-yard stare just looking at the book. And he'd kind of come to, whoa, and reread the paragraph he had read 40 minutes before. And I like to imagine, Mote, that in those moments, what he was doing was he was dreaming. He was dreaming about what he was going to do with the money he won betting on sports, or he was dreaming about meeting the girl of his dreams, or I like to think he was dreaming about this moment right now, and he pictured it just like this. So, last thing, some people also joke around about Mote losing things. So loses his keys, his wallet, his phone, his jacket, his dignity at times, his shoes, his shirts, all kinds of stuff. He loses all kinds of stuff. But actually, I'm just as bad, to be honest, I'm just as bad. Lose things a lot too. I've lost Mote a number of times. So I've lost him in Ann Arbor, at bars, in Milwaukee, in Dallas, all over the place. I've lost him. But when I know in those moments when I lose Mote, because Mote is an adventurer, I just think Mote is he's off on his latest adventure. And I know that when I lose him. So all jokes aside, Mote, the reason so many people are here to celebrate you is because you put so much love and joy and laughter into the world, really. And I've got a million Mote stories, but so does everybody here. And it's not just because you party incredibly hard. It's because you put yourself out there. You're kind, you're genuine, you're funny. And whether you've known Mote all your life or you just met him, he's the type of guy that'll sit down, ask about you, ask questions, make you laugh, and just actually put you at ease. He's the kind of friend that'll tell your wife you only had 2 or 3 beers, even if you had a couple more than that. He's the kind of guy that'll give you a call on the phone to tell you an embarrassing story about himself. And he's the kind of guy that'll fly across the country, help you pack, and drive back across the country just so you don't have to do it alone. Mote, you're a brother to me, and I'm so proud of you, man. So proud of you. I'm especially proud that you landed Liz. Oh my goodness, so proud that you landed Liz. So, I remember the first time my wife Ashley and I got to spend a little bit of time with Liz. We've been living in Boston at the time. We flew to Milwaukee for Markham's wedding. So, somewhere, okay. Markham, he was here, I did see him. So we came for Markham's wedding, and Mote was in the wedding, and so he was getting ready, and so Liz, by herself, came and met Ashley and I out for some drinks, and she showed up with a big smile and some big aviator glasses, and sat down, and it was like we had known Liz for years. And so we got to hang out, and after we left, Ashley said to me, this is a quote, so I'm gonna look at it, "If Mote screws this up, I will never forgive him." So all it took was a couple rounds of Bloody Marys, and Ashley was 100% on Team Liz. And that's kind of how it's been for a lot of us. You know, she has the patience, humor, and grace. That's a perfect match for Mote. That was very, very clear because, in fact, on the way to the wedding, to Markham's wedding in Milwaukee, they drove from Ann Arbor to Milwaukee. And the part that Mote told me, in his often kind of self-deprecating way that starts with, God, I'm an idiot. So his self-deprecating way, he starts out with this, and he tells me, he's like, look, we wanted to go to the Bell's Brewery, have a nice lunch, wanted to take Liz there, and I put the wrong thing in my GPS, and I show up to a warehouse, and there's no food, it's not the brewery, it's just a distribution center, and he's pretty frustrated, but Liz thought it was funny and kind of just laughed it off. The part he didn't tell me, that I heard actually last night, was that when they left, they went to a rest stop, to use the bathroom, and Liz was in the ladies' room and heard someone in the stall next to her a bit loud, in fact, unusually loud from the way that I heard it, and she kind of peeked under the stall and saw Mote's shoes right there, and so she washed her hands and left the bathroom, and it's like, Matt, were you in the women's bathroom? And he's like, no, he didn't know. It's Mote. He was probably looking at his phone and just like walked into the bathroom. He's like, you were. I saw you in there. And so, she thought it was hilarious, and she made it okay for Mote to laugh at himself in the situation. Which, this was 3.5, almost 4 years ago. This is early on in the relationship, and if she can laugh that off and make him feel okay about that, that's pretty real. So, Liz told me the reason that she started dating Mote was because she thought it was hilarious. So she said he makes her laugh every single day, whether he means to or not. It's a direct quote from her. And when I asked Mote what he loves most about Liz, he said her sense of humor, her positivity, her optimism. He said she's rarely in a bad mood and that it's infectious, that she's a genuinely kind person, and it makes everyone around her like her instantly, everybody that she meets. And Ashley and I fell in love with her right away. And she's actually been a part of some major life decisions for us. So Liz actually, if anybody, she likes to make some fancy cocktails, fresh squeezed oranges, all the whole 9 yards. So she got Ashley a little tipsy one day. She got Ashley drunk, and Ashley ordered a dog. So Mote and I have drunk ordered a pizza or Taco Bell or whatever, but Ashley and Liz ordered a 140-pound Swiss Mountain Dog, Ashley and I's dog named Kona, and a few months later, Mote and Liz, of course, got their also 140-pound Swiss Mountain Dog, Finn, and I'm just really happy that one day I'll be back up here as a father of the bride when Kona and Finn settle down together. And have that. But just in all seriousness, I'm just so happy to see two incredible people who've made everyone in this room laugh. You've made everyone in here feel loved and made everyone in here feel happy. And I'm so grateful that you all have found happiness, love, and laughter in each other. And we love you so much. Really, we love you so much. So in honor of the Taylors from Grand Rapids, I'm gonna conclude this with a quick Irish blessing. So I'd like us to raise a glass. All right. May love and laughter light your days and warm your hearts and home. May good and faithful friends be yours wherever you may roam. May peace and plenty bless your world with joy that long endures. May all life's passing seasons bring the best to you and yours. To the bride and groom.
Should have wrote something down. But honored to be here. I appreciate you guys having us. I met Paul and Kathy last night, and they welcomed my wife, and we had some good conversations today. And my 13 kids are going to come to your cottage and hang out. And now you can go skiing, which is even better, so we'll be there too. Twice a year. See you guys. But Mote and I have been practically best friends since kindergarten, and Beth and Joe have been there in every encounter that we have, and they make me feel like the most important person in the world, just like Mote does to all of you guys that you know. And I remember many times traveling to Florida with them and traveling up to Michigan for St. Patty's Day parties, and your grandmother, she was something special. And losing my grandmother this year, like, it hit home with what you went through, and don't mean to bring this up, but I remember being at her house, and you were a big Cincinnati Bearcats fan, alum right here, by the way. I don't know why, but I do know why, but they lost in the second round as the number 1 seed, and he cried for an hour. And it was weird. But I never told anybody this. And I didn't actually remember it until this year that your grandmother came up to me that day and said, "You need to take care of him." And I was like, man, I thought it was like really sweet thing to say, and then she was like, "No, you need to take care of him." I was like, "Oh, okay, got it." So we were 10. I didn't do a very good job of that because a lot of things happened. Art touched on a lot of good things, but that's what I remember from her, and now someone else gets to take care of him. So good luck with that. But it was a lot of drives down to Florida, a lot of golf, a lot of old school movies, a lot of Dr. Dre, forgot about Dre. And we listened to that probably 1,000 times on repeat. And we always rooted for Joe Tay to get a new Envoy every year. And his company would hook us up, and we played in the back seat, and that'd be the way to go as we count Waffle Houses on the way down to Florida. So, but Mote is one of the most special people that I know, and he deserves this more than anybody, and I always said, no matter who he got to marry him, that they would hit a home run. And I told my wife that from day one. I told all my friends that from day one, that he was just sitting in the dust, waiting to be dug up. He's like a T-Rex. I mean that, though. I do. Man, he makes you feel a certain way that you are so important, and to be honored to be even being in his wedding party, and how many friends and relationships, and that's what life's about, is creating relationships, and nobody does it better because he makes you feel like the most important thing in the world, and he makes you feel special. His wallet, his phone isn't special. His keys. I've seen him sit at a bar and have his wallet on his lap and put it down next to him and then get up and leave. Like on purpose. And I think we have a few wallets, Baganskis have a few wallets, phones, yeah, so eBay. But when you're face to face with him, you can't beat it. So I'm just happy for you guys, and I'd like to say a blessing for you guys. And you guys mean the world to me, and I'm so happy for you. So, Father, we thank you for Matt and Liz and their relationship and their marriage, and I want you to bless them and bring great things to them. Help them help other people. they've done their entire life and build relationships and grow them and create strong bonds with people. And please be with them tonight. Please be with everybody who travels from here tonight. In your name we pray. Amen. Like a toast. Yeah. Rotate and Liz. I love you guys. I'm handing you off.
So, we've already heard several great speeches tonight. I just wanted to say something to everybody that came out tonight. I'm not going to attempt to outdo those speeches. Those were incredible. So I'm just going to keep this short. Liz and I just wanted to thank everybody for coming to Detroit. I know some of you traveled from far away, and I know it's not easy, especially in the winter. We really appreciate it. I'd especially first like to thank Paul and Kathy. The two of you have been welcoming since the first day I met you, and this night is impossible without you guys. I also want to thank Katie, Meg, and Brandon. I grew up as an only child, and I could not have asked for better siblings to have, and now I couldn't be more excited to have siblings in my life. It's also, I also need to say big thanks to my parents as well. So I could talk forever about everything that they've done for me, but I would probably start crying and nobody really wants to hear that. So I'm just gonna move on from that. And you know I appreciate everything you've done, and thank you for all your help with this wedding especially. Finally, thank you to Liz. First, thank you for saying yes. I can't believe I actually convinced you of that. Also, I think everyone in this room can guess which one of us was incredibly organized, efficient, and thoughtful when it came to planning this whole event, and which one of us struggled immensely with planning like maybe 10%. And if we're like being, I don't know, maybe generous to me. So, I don't know. So, I mean, you did an amazing job with this, and I love you very much, and I can't wait to spend our lives together. And I don't want to, like, delay this party anymore, so let's party. It's been a